This is TechCrunch. In this Friday edition of your Daily Crunch, how gut health AI toilet startup Throne raised $4 million. I'm Imran Sheikh, and you may want to sit down for this because it's Startup Stories, a TechCrunch special. The tale of how an aptly named smart toilet startup Throne landed its seed round is so full of serendipities, one could almost believe it was orchestrated by the hand of Fortuna, Roman goddess of providence. You see, Throne is an Austin-based company working on an AI-powered toilet device for consumers of food. It uses computer vision, don't worry, the cameras are pointing in the bowl, plus AI software to monitor gut health conditions. It just raised $4 million in seed financing led by Moxie Ventures founder Katie Jacobs Stanton, with a bunch of other VCs participating and several famous angels like Lance Armstrong, Rupa Health co-founder Tara Viswanathan, and TrueMed founder Justin Mayers, maker of brands like Kettle and Fire, the startup says. Now, don't get it twisted, Throne isn't a toilet, but a device that mounts onto the bowl of one. The device, combined with software, analyzes indicators of certain chronic conditions, as well as hydration and urological function, all in the privacy of your own wash closet. The software has added privacy controls, such as anonymizing the images sent to researchers. The device is currently in a pre-production working prototype form with a planned launch date of January 2026, co-founder CEO Scott Hickel tells TechCrunch. In addition to the seed funding, Throne also announced it's hired John Capote-Lupo as its chief product officer. Capote-Lupo is best known as co-founder and former CTO of the Whoop smartwatch device. The wild tale of how Hickel, a mechanical engineer, and Throne CTO Tim Blumberg, a full-stack software engineer, became smart toilet founders began in 2021, when they were playing poker with friends in Austin, as one does. The players started riffing on startup ideas they'd like to do, but wouldn't want to be associated with. And everyone's pitching vice industry ideas, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Tim said, smart toilets. I was like, that's hilarious. Clearly you would name that company Throne, Hickel recalled. Fast forward to 2023 when the nurse hiring software startup Hickel and Blumberg were working on failed. They had raised some funding for it and were calling their investors telling them they either needed a new idea or were going to return the funds. Out of the blue, one of their investors said, "You guys thought about smart toilets?" We were like, we've named that company. That's Throne. Well, they took that as a sign. The pair began researching and turned to Hickel's mom, a doctor specializing in gerontology. He asked her if there would be any medical benefit in looking at people's waste, and she began regaling him with somewhat disgusting stories of the photos of such things that her patients loved to send her. Short answer? Yes, waste can be analyzed for health-related information. They learned this could be helpful to monitor a wide variety of chronic conditions such as irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, ulcerative colitis, detection of various colon cancers, chronic kidney disease, enlarged prostate, as well as conditions that could be identified or monitored by looking at other wastes, such as menstrual blood. As the son of two doctors, Hickel's dad also dabbled in inventing medical devices. Knowing it might be possible to divert a chronic condition attack or predict a deadly cancer was really motivating to me, Hickel says. Not everyone shared that enthusiasm, of course. The co-founders knew they lacked hardware product development experience. One of their existing investors was so opposed to the idea he wanted his money back. That was brutal, Hickel described, not just for the loss of capital, but for the loss of confidence. Still, after giving that money back, they ran into more people who liked the idea rather than who shunned them for it. Standing outside Lance Armstrong's bathroom door. Their Austin contacts led to an introduction to Lance Armstrong's business manager, who set them up to pitch Armstrong directly. The former bike racer famously had testicular cancer. And that led them to a surreal moment standing outside the racer's bathroom door after having installed a prototype, waiting for his verdict, Hickel described. Armstrong wrote a check. Not every introduction led to checks, but many led to more introductions, including to Lupo, who also wrote an angel check. Lupo had been public about suffering from ulcerative colitis and was on the board of trustees of Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Lupo had the device manufacturing experience they needed. It took the founders months to convince Lupo to not just invest, but join as a founder. The introduction to well-known seed investor Jacob Stanton was also serendipitous. Hickel had been friends with Rupa Health's Viswanathan since high school, and she orchestrated the introduction. More synchronicities landed them their partnerships with researchers at University of Washington and the University of Chicago, who are working to validate that the product's software works as advertised. These partnerships are the key to its possible success. Throne landed University of Washington when a friend of Hickel's randomly sat next to a urologist researcher on a plane and talked about Throne, then put him in touch, he said. They got the University of Chicago when a friend of Hickel's introduced him to his gastroenterologist uncle. The uncle happened to be one of the world's premier gastroenterologist researchers who also sat on the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation's board and knew Lupo. With one fortuitous introduction after another, the inside joke among the founders is that it's better to be lucky than good, and we just got so dumb lucky all the time, Hickel said. But he also believes the tailwinds have been so strong, he feels like the world wants us to do this. That's your Daily Crunch. Today's story was reported by Julie Bort. We'll see you here tomorrow, same tech time, same Crunch channel, and until then, find us at TechCrunch.com.